Turn that volume up. You know you want it. It's time for Women's Basketball TV with former NCAA champion, WNBA champion, business mogul, and national TV personality, Fran Harris. Let's get it.
All right, let's jump into the preview of the game of the year. We're not even in the Final Four, and we all know that this is the game of the year. LSU versus Iowa tonight, 6:15 Central, 7:15 Eastern. Let's go crazy. So this weekend I was speaking at the regional site in Albany. So both LSU and Iowa were there. I was speaking at a fan experience event that happens between games, and the electricity in the building was insane, absolutely insane. So those of you who are new to me, new to this channel, I'm Fran Harris. I played at the University of Texas on a national championship team in 1986, the NCAA's first undefeated women's basketball championship team. We were 34-0. I played for the Houston Comets on their first championship team, played a couple of years in the league, and then started calling the games for ESPN, for Fox, for the San Antonio Silver Stars, et cetera, et cetera. So that's me, coached in high school, been offered lots of college coaching jobs, and really did not want to become a coach. Did not want to become a coach. I coached club teams, coached in high school in Austin, and yeah, coaching is kind of crazy for me. And so I decided not to do that, to stick with television and talking about the game. And of course, my history as a player at the University of Texas, was an alternate on the Olympic team, played on top NCAA national teams, USA national teams with some great players. There's a picture right there of one of my national team experiences. Just had a great career, and this is the time of the year that we all lived for as college players. So it's different. It's different. Every level is very different, and people talk about what the teams have been doing in the NCAA tournament, and I keep saying, every time you advance, there's a different feeling. There's something different at stake. The players feel differently. The coaches feel differently. And so if your team is still playing today, congratulations. I will do a video on my home team, the University of Texas Longhorns, in a future video, probably later today, just to kind of talk about the game between NC State. But this video is all about what's happening tonight between the LSU Tigers and the Iowa Hawkeyes. So very, very fun to watch both LSU and Iowa play over the weekend in person. It was a madhouse in Albany, sold out. The person who brought me in to speak to the fans said that the day before, in the first game, the semifinal game, people were trying to walk up and get tickets. And they were like, really? You're trying to get tickets on the day of? Do you understand what's in this building? And so it was really cool to have that experience, to be there where it was just packed. Not one seat was open. It was incredible. And then the day I was there, that was the day before I got there. And then the day I was there, which was I was speaking on Saturday, then it was sold out. And sitting in that arena with the contingency from not Iowa, but who was it? LSU sitting across from me. I was sitting behind the LSU bench. And then when Iowa played right after that game, the field house, the stadium, the arena filled up with black and gold. Insane. Absolutely incredible. And I was telling the folks when we were talking at the in-between fan experiences thing, the things that I was brought into Keynote to talk about, we averaged 10, 12,000 fans at Texas in the 80s. So seeing that level of participation and that level of fandom was not new per se to me, because we were doing that when I was playing 30, 40 years ago. But what was really amazing was to see the level of media attention, to see all of those media people along the baseline, to see all those media folks in the media room. That was, to some degree, it had tripled, right? So maybe back in the day, the 80s and 90s, unless there was a really big game, you would see, for us, even at our home games, you would see 20, maybe 25, sometimes 30, depending on the opponent, if it was Oklahoma, if it was A&M, and those kinds of things. And then when we would go on the road, there would be something similar to that. But for the most part, most teams were used to, a beat reporter, a couple of reporters, whatever. But to see 60 media credentials and definitely going to be more at the Final Four. But that was cool. That was really looking at what we paved the road to do, what the people before me did to pave the road for us. What's happening right now is exactly what's supposed to be happening if your sport is growing. So fun time over the weekend watching Iowa, watching Caitlin close up in person, because I saw LSU and Iowa play last year in Dallas, but I was in a suite. But what you can't get in a suite is what it feels like to be on the court with all that happening. So let's talk about the preview of this game. It is the game of the season. We all know that. We know that we haven't seen LSU and Iowa play since they played last year in the Final Four.
Hey there, it's Fran Harris. Just wondering if you picked up your copy of Houston by Morning, the first novel set in the world of the WNBA about a first-round draft pick, fictional draft pick, who is dealing with her agent, competition, media, coach, and a new broadcaster who is setting the league on fire in more ways than one. But yeah, pick it up on Amazon.com. Hardcover, paperback, even Audible. Check it out. Let me know what you think. See ya.
And all the hype you've heard, we all know if you're watching this video, you're already a women's basketball fan, or you're a cursory fan kind of watching from the perimeter and waiting for this day. Everybody knows that this is the matchup. So I'm going to talk very bluntly, as I do in most of my videos, about what needs to happen for either team to beat the other one. So let's talk about what LSU needs to do to have a shot at beating Iowa. If I said smart, tough, tenacity, fire, anger, passion, that's for both of those teams, right? That's for both teams. They both bring that. Intelligence, great players, great coaches. That's a given. If you get to this level, it is very difficult for you to make it and be successful if you don't have those things. So we know those traits and attributes are a part of both the LSU Tigers and the Iowa Hawkeyes. But let's talk specifically about the game plan. For LSU, the game plan, if I were coaching LSU, this would be my game plan from watching Iowa play over the last year. You have to have a Caitlin plan. No surprise there. But your Caitlin plan, you cannot abandon your Caitlin plan. I've said this on many occasions. When I played at Texas, we were playing Western Kentucky in the semifinals of the Final Four. They had an All-American by the name of Lily Mason. Phenomenal post player. And one of the things our coaching staff scouted was that Lily turned a certain way 90% if she got the ball in the paint. She turned a certain way. She turned over like this shoulder. So I think that was her left shoulder. So what we did is we had a round of tape around our left pinky to remind us that if Lily Mason got the basketball, somebody needed to be there, right? Sometimes we doubled her. Whoever was guarding her default to the side that she likes to turn, the shoulder she likes to turn over. When she turns, somebody's going to be there. That was the Lily Mason plan. And our coach, many of you know, Jody Conrad, Hall of Famer, don't abandon the plan. Sounds like a simple thing. Oh, yeah. Sounds like a simple thing. But the reason people have not beaten certain people and certain teams is because they don't have a specific plan. Or if they do, they abandon it just because the player scores. The player gets a couple of buckets or whatever. Stick to the plan. I'll fast forward in the conversation. Lily Mason got several charges in that game trying to go over her. We are all creatures of habit. You have to have a plan in place to disrupt what Iowa wants to do offensively. So the number one thing LSU has to do is to have a Caitlin plan, and that is either give her lots of points or give her lots of assists. You cannot give Caitlin Clark both of those. You can't do it. You can't let her have a 39 piece and let her have a 20 piece of assists. You can't do it. You will not win. So you have to make a Caitlin plan. You have to make a decision. What are we going to give her? What are we going to be okay with if she, 30 piece, but not 20 assists? What are we going to be okay with? So that's the first thing LSU has to do. Number two, do not disrespect the other players on Iowa. Do not put so much into Caitlin that you forget about the other great players on Iowa's team. You can call them role players. Y'all can call them whatever y'all want to play. Those girls are balling. You cannot be disrespectful and go, well, we're gonna let her have this. Again, the Caitlin plan comes first. Points or assists, not both. All right. Second thing is you can't disrespect the others. And then the other thing that I think LSU really needs to do is to be very, very attentive and intentional about the fundamentals of the game. That's getting back on transition defense. I can't tell you from sitting on the sideline Saturday how many times I saw Caitlin make a chest pass or a bounce pass to an open player from the other end of the court. She got the rebound, 2 dribbles, chest pass to her teammate to shoot a layup. I can't even tell, if y'all saw the game, you saw it. I can't even tell you how many times that happened. That's just not getting back. That's not paying attention to the details of the game. You got to get back. First of all, you got to stop the ball, put pressure on Caitlin in the backcourt, make Caitlin give up the ball in the backcourt, and then you got to make sure people are back in transition. Nobody should be getting a wide open layup from an assist that happened on the other end of the floor. Nah. All right, so that's it. That's LSU. That's what I would do if I were coaching LSU. The intangibles are there. You don't get to this point in the game without having fire, tenacity, being smart. You don't get to the game without that. But these 3 things right here would be my focal points for Iowa. Let's see what time it is. All right, great. We good. For Iowa, for LSU, you got to have an angel plan. Yeah, see, everybody thinks because Caitlin drops 40 and gets 15 assists that's the only offensive player that you got to be aware of. LSU might be, with the exception of South Carolina, and as NC State showed yesterday, one of the most lethal offensive teams in NCAA women's basketball. Morrow, Flagey, Angel, Williams. That's potent. That's crazy. When they're all good, that's amazing. But the Angel plan for Iowa is this. You can't let Angel have 20 points and 20 rebounds. Same plan as I said for Caitlin. You got to decide. Angel Reese is a rebounding juggernaut. She works. She's active. She's smart. All of that. But she does not, if I'm coaching Iowa, she does not get to get 20 points and 20 rebounds. So I would limit Angel Reese. I would say, whatever you do, whoever's guarding Angel, whoever's rotating on our defense, box Angel Reese out. Because here's what happens, y'all. If you box out a rebounder, pretty soon, subconsciously, they stop going to the boards. I've seen it a million times because they don't think they're going to get the rebound. So you got to be disciplined. Keep Angel off the boards. Got to keep Angel off the boards. You cannot let her have 20, 30 rebounds and a double in terms of her points in the high 20s and that kind of thing. You can let her she might be able to get 12 rebounds and 8 points. Solid outing for most people, but for Angel is a 20-20. Can't let that happen. 2, you have to make LSU, that's me doing, okay. You have to make LSU beat you from the 3-point line. Make them beat you from the 3-point line. You were like, well, they got 3-point shooters. Okay, well, that's what I want you to do. I want you to beat me from there. I'm not going to allow those great perimeter players to put the ball on the deck, to dish it up. No, did you just hear the quartet I mentioned? Reese, Morrow, Johnson, Williams. Amazing quartet. But they also like to penetrate. They also like to make it happen. They also like to play make. You've got to make LSU one-dimensional. If LSU gets to slice and dice off the bounce, if they get to go downhill and shoot jumpers and shoot mid-ranges, they're going to kill Iowa. Kill them. Make them one-dimensional. And then the final thing you need to do, if I'm coaching Iowa, is to don't try to out-mental LSU. Don't try to out-mental LSU. They gonna talk some trash. I like trash talking. They're going to do the things Everybody, this is a game behind the game inside the game. Everybody's doing stuff. Everybody's pulling jerseys that the officials don't see and don't call. So don't act like Iowa is not doing the same thing and that South Carolina is not. That's just craziness. That's just nonsense. Everybody's doing stuff within the game. But what you can't allow to happen when you're playing LSU is to allow the trash talking and the stuff that they're getting away with to take you out of your game. If Iowa can just be like game planning all the way through the game, not getting into a smackdown with Angel, not getting into a smackdown with Flaugier, if they don't allow that part of the game to take them out of their game, they will be fine. But here's what the deal is. I am looking forward to an amazing matchup between last year's Final Four championship game between the LSU Tigers and the Iowa Hawkeyes. So those are my keys to the game. Who you got in the game? And who do you think is going to be key for each team? But that's my story. I'm sticking to it, and I'll see you after the game.
Thanks for tuning in to Women's Basketball TV with Fran Harris, the most provocative and entertaining women's basketball show on earth. Be sure to click that like, share, and notification button so you don't miss a moment. We'll see you tomorrow.